A very beautiful day, my wonderful student. It is so nice to be with you once again in our history class. Today, we're going to be talking about a different culture entirely. For some time, we're talking about the Bono dynasty, its success and decline. And now we're going to be dealing with a very special group of people. And today, you're going to learn so much about the people you can even relate with very well. So, it's going to be a very wonderful time to discuss about the Yoruba race, the people called Yoruba, the people called Yoruba. We're going to be looking at the land Yoruba in the 19th century. This is your week 5 class. And what are we to learn today? At the end of this discussion, the student, you should be able to learn the following about the Yoruba: whom they are, where they come from, their founding fathers, the description of their origin, and the different institutions and agencies that make up their government or political system. And you're also going to learn much about their political structures, among other things you're going to learn. Now, the Yoruba land has many vast kingdoms. They developed into large towns. Large towns were established. They occupy the southwest part of Nigeria and much of the southern portion of the neighboring Republic of Benin. They are accomplished traders, and they are found even as far away as Ivory Coast. Their influence in Nigeria cannot be played down. It cannot be underemphasized. It needs to be emphasized because they play a considerable role in Nigerian political history and otherwise. Who are they? Just as the Nigerians did not know who they were together for long. They did not know they were Nigerians until after the amalgamation, until after the independence, until Lord Lugard forcefully brought the northern and the southern protectorate together, and the wife called them Nigeria. They never knew they were Nigerians. So Yorubas thought they were little units of people living in different places like the Egba, Ijebu, Ekiti, Ibadan, Ife, Ijesha, Oyo, and so many other places. They never knew that they belonged to the same race, the same culture. These small groups we mentioned were later called the Yorubas, and they were supposed to have been called. Now, those who had dealings with certain Yoruba people in Sierra Leone perceived they had a common way of greeting and began to call them the Aku from the early 19th century. The word Aku is derived from the Yoruba greetings. Eku, that's hello, or Olukumi, my friend. In Dahomey, now the Republic of Benin, the Yoruba language was called Anago. It was from the 19th century that the Yoruba, who possessed strikingly similar values and tradition, now practices began to emerge as one people, not until after, from 19th century. And the Christian mission began by providing a standard Yoruba language based on Oyo dialect among the people. And that's how the word Yoruba began to be used to describe a people. And in 1819, an English diplomat, T.E. Baldish, drew attention to what he called the Yoruba Kingdom. So it was far away coming until it finally came. And during the same century, Sultan Bello of Sokoto spoke of the Yarabawa, who were said to have been expelled from Arabia. People were speaking about it. Scholars of Yoruba language conclude that the origin of the word is still shrouded in mystery, incalpable mystery. And at least one scholar also noted that the word may have had a Hebrew, maybe Israelite origin, because in First Chronicles 4:10, the Bible speaks of Yoreb, Yoreba, or Yoarib. So these are Hebrew terms which look like the word we're talking about. So now, where did they come from? With all these, guess, where did they come from? Now, as with the origin of the word Yoruba, the origin of the people is not known. In spite of A lot of money spent in historical research trying to find out investigations here and there over the years. The origins still remain quite obscure, not known. Now, one oral tradition said that Yoruba came from nowhere, but they have always been in Yoruba land. Is it that they just happened, like the Big Bang? And the tradition described Ile-Ife as the center of what this tradition explained that all human beings everywhere were created at Ile-Ife. It also gives the detailed account of how that creation happened. Now look at Ile, the modern day Ile Oduduwa. You know, this is where we can see it in Ile-Ife, you know, where the creation happened. And people still go there to look at the place and reflect back historically. How is this origin, the creation story, how was it said? It said that God is supreme being, and notice that the whole world was covered with water, something like the deluge. And he decided to send Obatala. Obatala is sometimes known as Orishanla, to create the earth and man. But this messenger of God got drunk on his way to the earth. So he started creating people anyhow, according to a story that he created some people, their head were very amorphous, their nose big, ears 1 ear long, mouth too big and everywhere. And Oduduwa saw it and said, no, 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 I'm going to take over this function from you. And Oduduwa created people. So it was Oduduwa that later took over the function of this Batala, who got drunk along the line. You see where they depicted him as getting drunk from a palm tree and started misbehaving. So Oduduwa had to create the Yoruba race, as it were. And there is another tradition which said that the Yoruba came from Mecca, that their leader, Lamorudu, was said to have been expelled from Mecca after he became an idolater and was forced to flee southwards. So he landed in Yoruba land. After many days of travel, they say his men, led by Oduduwa, arrive at Ile. So Oduduwa is also mentioned here. Oduduwa is quite significantly mentioned. Look at his depiction, the great Oduduwa, you know, of the Yoruba tribe. This is a sculptural depiction of the great Oduduwa, who is the founding father of the Yoruba kingdom. Please note Oduduwa. There are yet other traditions. For example, there are accounts which suggest that the Yoruba migration came from Egypt. Another tradition suggests that the Yoruba may have also lived among the Jews in Israel. So many of the traditions point to northeast origin. Now, if the migration story is accepted, it is suggested that the Yoruba arrived in Ile-Ife during the Bronze Age between 200 and 500 BC. But if the Mecca origin is accepted, the migration can only be from about 600 AD, that is after the establishment of Islam. Note that significantly, that Islam is so significant in the history of Yoruba, even up to date. Now, we heard that Dudua, you know, gave birth to a lot of sons. These sons, sometimes you can put their number in 6, some say it's 14, and some say 26, you know, and okay. We also know, here a story that say there were some people that were living in Ile-Ife over time, and they were led by Luere before the wave of migration led by Oduduwa. And it seems that the Oduduwa group now seized control of Ile-Ife on their arrival. But we know, like we are told, that the two groups agreed to stay together, and Oduduwa married Omonide, who gave birth to a daughter and number of sons. Remember, we have mentioned the controversy about the number of sons, 6, 14, 26, and they say to have they left their father to find kingdoms. So Oduduwa is believed to be the father of the Yoruba race, the father of the Yoruba race, Oduduwa himself. So Ile-Ife served as a spiritual home of the Yoruba, the ancestral home of the Yoruba. It is also said that the Yoruba, or Romeo, the youngest of the children of Oduduwa, founded Oyo, which became the most powerful of all the states. See, Oromia is a legend. It was very grandiose. Oduduwa loved him so much, you know, and directly he was the one Oduduwa considered the most, as tradition says. Now, the existing tradition do not, however, apply to all the Yoruba. It is significant to know that the Ogbomoso ruling family claim their own descent from the northern part of Nigeria. But generally, Yoruba trace their origin to Ile-Ife. Now, the people of Lagos believe that the founder of the island, Ogun Funmike, was a hunter who belonged to the Ile-Ife ruling family of Olofin Awogunjaye, Olofin Awogunjaye. So you should note how they also trace their descent back to the place Ile-Ife. Now, what is the nature of Yoruba government? Why the origin of Yoruba remains vague? There is a clear picture of the political and social organization of Yoruba land. And one important feature was the emergence of a monarchical structure. Remember, when we were talking about the Borno kingdom being monarchical, we compared with the Yoruba as well. But we're going to see in this discussion how Yoruba is both monarchical and democratic. So the Oba was elected only after divine approval from God. Consultation had to be made. And once the Oba is crowned, he became sacred. He was considered to be the representative of God on earth. He's the associate of the Supreme Being. They call him Egba Keji Orisha. His authority was strengthened by the use of many rituals and myths, and by wearing clothes such as flowing gowns and a beaded crown, which reflected glory on his imperial majesty. We're going to see the depiction on the Obaship. His words were law and bond for his people. Look at the Oba depicted. Look at the people, vassals, kingdoms, princes, harems. You see the bronze depiction, glory and splendor, very magnificent. We also have some agencies like the Oboni. Oboni is a court that was established in Ile-Ife for good, to assist in administration, to protect the people against newcomers, and to help the integration of the entire community, among others. They pass law, they play judicial function like the lawyers. They also took part in electing king. They were kingmakers, electoral officers, and their duties were therefore judicial, political, religious, social, administrative. So we can say that they were very powerful. So they had function. But nowadays, some of these courts have been bastardized. Like we hear a story of how the Pirates Confraternity was founded by Wole Soyinka back then in school, Ibadan. But now it has been bastardized with so many nefarious acts. Other institutions which took part in the administration of the kingdom were the Oro and the Egungu. The Oro was a court that carried out the order of the Ogboni elders. They carry out the Ogboni elders. Oro, they say it's anti-woman. When Oro comes out, a woman cannot come out. Now, the Egungu was like a masquerade, they believed to represent the ancestors. They conducted visitation to people from time to time to punish the wicked in the society. You can see the good role they were playing in that society, like the age grade system, the Igbo political structure. Both the Oro and Egungu perform police duties. They arrest and punish offenders in order to rid the society of criminalities. And there were also men who perform priestly functions, like the Ifa, the Babalawo. They were the professionals who consulted the oracles and performed sacrifice. They also serve as the mediums in the communication chain between God and man. They also were very influential people, and they were held in high respect. Look at the Oboni called depiction, the picture here. The Oboni, see the members wearing white and bare body going out. This is the Oro. The Oro, whenever Oro comes out, a woman cannot come out. They carry out the duties of the Oboni confraternity. It will be seen that although the king was in charge of affairs, he was not alone. You can see he has assistants, powerful influential people around him. So he cannot be a democrat. He cannot be autocratic. He can't be despotic. He can't be totalitarian. He can't even try to do things on his own. He has to take decisions from consultations. For example, his person was sacred, but his functions were secular, because religious functions were performed by other people, even judicial functions, like we have seen. There were checks and balances. So an unpopular king can be told to go and sleep. That's commit suicide. So he cannot just do it. Everybody is checked. It's seen as the whole system is fashioned along line of checks and balances. And that is why it is often argued that the political system in Yoruba was at once both monarchical and democratic. It ensured participation in government by all, working for the same goal of bringing greatness to the people. Cooperation was the watchword, and we can see it paid off handsomely. So please remember, those that serve the duties of the Oboni, the Oro, uh, bringing compliance to society, the Oboni, serving the police duties, judicial functions, administrative functions. We see the Oba that was ordained by God. And once he becomes the Oba, he ceases to be a human. Or Romeo, we remember the greatest of the Oduduwa sons, and he created the Oyo kingdom. And we can see the great Oduduwa himself, the father of the Yoruba dynasty. Remember the story of creation? How Obatala got drunk, Orishala, and Oduduwa took over the creation of people. Obatala himself, that was sent by God. Ile-Ife still remained the ancestral home of the Yoruba people, and we can see that the Yoruba is actually a great dynasty, a great empire that we should reckon with in historical order. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful time with you in this discourse. I can see that you are relating with people's cultures, places, and I want you to continue to read your book. Please do well in your exams. Read the notes that have been sent to you and continue to get prepared, because one day we'll meet again. Love you very much, and please remain safe. Remember, like we say, the height that great men attain is never by a sudden flight. But when you continue to read,